Boruto is getting invisibility, and I'm going to explain exactly how he's going about getting it. But first, if you wouldn't mind giving me a like and a subscribe, it would mean the world to me. Let's get into it. When Boruto introduced us to the Rasengan Uzuhiko in chapters 2 and 3 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, readers of the manga were just as stunned as Code. Okay, maybe not quite as stunned as Code, but you get what I'm saying. After Boruto proceeded to literally stomp Code until he was seeing stars, before placing a tracker toad on him to basically turn him into a human GPS to the Ten Tails, we, the audience, were left to ponder what else Boruto might be capable of. If he can summon planetary power, what else is coming? But then, in the midst of showing us the most insane bag of abilities and big reveals over the next 3 chapters, including the Flying Raijin, Purple Lightning Cutter, insane Kenjutsu skills, Sasuke straight up telling him that no one is going to be able to beat him, and then actual flying, many of us skipped on a jutsu that never got called out or captioned in the manga, and that technique is Shiden Nagashi. I'm guessing Shiden. There's a small chance that it's actually Chidori Nagashi, but the little Chidori marks weren't there in the manga, so I'm gonna say Shiden Purple Lightning Nagashi. If you're unfamiliar with Chidori Nagashi, it's a lightning-based technique that Sasuke uses during the Naruto time skip that basically channels the lightning nature chakra around his body like a current, attacking everything around him. And it literally floors Sakura, Naruto, and Sai, and Yamato at the same time. So why am I talking about a jutsu that we haven't seen in almost a decade? Well, that's because there's a lot of reason to believe that Kishimoto and Ikemoto are hiding their intentions in plain sight. They literally showed you Rasengan Uzuhiko, and then immediately followed it up by showing you that Boruto knows Shiden Nagashi, and then followed that up by showing you that he can hide his chakra signature and teleport and fly around. It's all foreshadowing. Boruto is the ultimate ninja, and the Rasengan Uzuhiko isn't a parlor trick technique either. In fact, when you look at the structure of the Rasengan Uzuhiko, and then factor in the other abilities that we already know come natural to Boruto, including the Vanishing Rasengan, I think it's only right to connect the dots and say that sooner or later, in this manga, and I'm thinking it's going to be sooner rather than later, Boruto is going to use some sort of vanishing full-body Rasengan to make himself invisible, probably for a brief moment while he gets off another attack. But it's going to happen. But what makes invisibility insanely overpowered for him, or even a full-body vanishing Rasengan insanely overpowered, even if it's for just a brief moment, is that Boruto can also teleport, fly, and mask his chakra signature. So basically, having invisibility makes it impossible for any non-Otsutsuki to detect him, and pretty much impossible for basically anyone that we know of so far to definitively beat him. There's nobody that is no-diffing Boruto right now, and that was probably true before any sort of talk of invisibility. But with invisibility, it's damn near impossible. I don't think Damon has an advantage on Boruto right now based on this alone. And let's be honest, taking down Boruto right now is a hard task regardless of whether or not he's invisible. Just ask Mitsuki, just ask Code. And by the way, regarding Mitsuki, don't be surprised if either the Vanishing Rasengan or one of the other time skip techniques come into play during the Boruto vs Mitsuki fight in chapter 7. This will particularly be done to clue Mitsuki into the fact that Boruto is his real son, but also to show us that Boruto has plenty more in the bag, including additional techniques using his nature energy and or planetary energy. In fact, Boruto's ability to wield planetary chakra around his body and the implication that he knows Sage Mode could bode extremely poorly for Mitsuki, whose own Sage Mode wouldn't then get to capitalize on the Otsutsuki vulnerability to Senjutsu. The popular theory that Boruto has already learned to go into Sage Mode, it doesn't even need to be true if Boruto is able to shield himself by molding Senjutsu chakra around his body like some sort of Sage Mode shield. And there's more to this than just Senjutsu and lightning release though. Keep in mind, Sasuke already told Boruto that he taught him almost everything he knows. Well, if he taught him almost everything, and we're assuming that he wasn't able to teach him any of the Rinnegan or Mangekyo Sharingan techniques, then it pretty much means that Every chakra nature in Sasuke's arsenal, which includes all 5 chakra natures, wind, water, lightning, fire, and earth, maybe even ice release, which is supposed to be a Kekkei Genkai, but Sasuke can learn it, so why not Boruto? So all of those techniques, everything under that umbrella, is on the table for Boruto to learn. Imagine Boruto turning his body into a literal fireball vortex in a close-range attack, using the full-body Rasengan combined with Earth style to shield himself and increase the damage of his attacks. Basically, Boruto could have all of the upsides of Gaara, but with a better haircut. And I want to touch on this topic of Boruto's development as a ninja, because it's basically the entire reason for the way in which the Boruto story has been told up to this point. Every single skill that Boruto has learned has led to the evolution that we get to see later. A perfect example of this is the Compression Rasengan, which later becomes the Rasendan, which Borushiki uses. In my opinion, that development of Boruto as a ninja is exactly what the pre-time skip story is really about. And Kishimoto tells you as much by making it a focal point of the first scene of the story. The first line of the show is, "The age of shinobi is over." When you read the manga or watched the show for the first time, you didn't know who Kawaki was or why he was fighting. You didn't know what he stood for or that he stood against the shinobi world. All you knew was that Boruto was still a shinobi and that he was repping the shinobi. And then throughout Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga and the anime, they repeatedly make it a point of reference. The pre-time skip story is really 80 chapters of exploring and foreshadowing what kind of ninjas Boruto and the gang are going to grow up to be in an age where the real shinobi are becoming obsolete. And what is a ninja at the end of the day? A covert operative that can carry out a mission and use deadly force. And in this show, wield chakra. So based on every skill we've seen out of Boruto so far, he's trending towards becoming the perfect ninja. He's got stealth, mobility, precision, speed, strength, and versatility. And by the way, we've seen Boruto repeatedly make his own jutsus, whether it's Vanishing Rasengan, Rasengan Uzuhiko, or even his Boruto stream going back to the very beginnings of the manga. We're constantly seeing him innovate and introduce concepts that we've never seen before. And Kishimoto has been foreshadowing both the versatility of the Rasengan and also invisibility as components of Boruto's powers over and over, as recently as chapter 3 of Blue Vortex, where Code brings up the Vanishing Rasengan before getting absolutely smacked, and chapter 6, where Boruto talks about making his chakra signature invisible. We had seen that before, but Boruto talking about it again? I see that as foreshadowing. In fact, Boruto having invisibility seems like one of the most foreshadowed elements in this story. But leave invisibility aside for a moment. What do you think is the next ability Boruto is going to pull off in this seemingly endless bag of jutsus? Do you think Rasengan Uzuhiko, Shiden Nagashi, and Boruto's other skills are going to play a role or be the basis for whatever the next thing is? Or do you think it's going to be something else entirely? Definitely get in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. And as always, if you liked the video, please give it a like and subscribe to the page. Toodles!